Already 48 laps in. And if you're just joining us, apologies for some small technical difficulties. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you the remainder of the race here for round one of the Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series. Matthew Long is our leader after pit stops have just finished. He's about 2 seconds ahead of Thomas Sink and Bradley Hawley sitting in the third position. That's where things finally start to get close from there on down. Doug Evans right behind him, and then a little bit of a gap to Adam Zemke. But we have been caution-free all race long. The drivers have been handling it well, but it hasn't been without incident.
That's right, Joe. We've had a few drivers that have met an unfortunate meeting with the wall, which has made their race a lot more difficult, including former series champion Josh Conker, who started third, now runs north of the 20th spot as he works to overcome some heavy damage to his machine.
Where is Guerra? Oh, there he is. Okay, he's way down the order. I knew he got into trouble, but he pitted early, and I was curious if the fresh tires had gained him anything. And it sounds like I'm just looking now. He has pitted recently, so he's going to stay a lap down, unfortunately. Well, there went his chance to try and maybe pull a little bit of an alternate strategy. And I think, did Bradley Hawley just overtake Thomas Sink?
Yep, it looks that way. Hawley now up into the second position, but Thomas Sink not letting him get too far away yet, Joe.
He's sticking with it. Hawley on 2-lap fresher tires than Matthew Long. He's back by about 1.7 seconds, and I do believe he is running slightly faster. 31.4 last time for Matt, and Brad with a 31 flat. Yeah, wow, actually half a second faster, so he's coming.
But you got to wonder, too, with the huge advantage Long has. One, he doesn't have the benefit of any type of draft or anything, but on top of that, he could also be laying back a little bit, trying to save his stuff for the end.
That could be. These two seem to have hooked up now, so Hawley's got a friend in Thomas Sink. It's down to 1.4 seconds between the lead and P2. Last season saw Hawley take 2 wins on his way to that championship. Is he going to be able to kick things off here in the Truck Series this season by taking a victory right off the bat? And we get our first caution. Trying to see, this is Baron Hill. Oh, it's Baron Hilton, and I see somebody else in the wall there. That is Ryan Traver.
There was some pretty impressive avoidance there. Looked like there was a car sitting long ways on the track, and a couple guys had to split the difference there.
And this starts with Traver and Josh Conker. So things have gone from bad to worse for Josh. There you see it right there. He gets into Hilton, who is kind of an innocent victim in this one. Hilton goes up, and there you see some of the avoidance. I think that's Cowgill. Not sure who else in there. That looks like Shane got a little bit of a touch. You saw him take a tap. And I think Nick Hunter was one of the ones that kind of eked by.
Yeah, you really got to feel bad for the Zero truck there. Really just wrong place, wrong time.
Oh, good job and all of that. Having to go multiple directions to get this thing woed up. Okay, so we're not terribly long in on the pit stops. The oldest I'm seeing is the 79 on 15-lap-old tires. But it looks like tires are king because we still got everybody pitting.
Well, I figured it was going to be one way or the other. Either nobody was going to pit or everyone was going to. And obviously the lure of the fresh tires was a siren song for all these drivers.
Except for Cardozo. The one that I said had the oldest tires stayed out. Otherwise, everybody on the lead lap is in. We'll see what this does for the battle on pit road. Can anybody sneak a position? Could they gamble on 2 tires, maybe? Would that be good enough? Looks like Long is going to be the first out. Sink is out ahead of Hawley, though.
Well, it's not too often you see Bradley Hawley get beat in the pits, but here we are.
Now, while we've got some time here with the caution, I believe we've got a little bit of a graphic to show in case our viewers want to see what they need to be looking for our playoff viewers. This is, again, a year-long championship that they do. In addition, there's the spoiler, both front and back, as well as the banner that you want to be looking for to spot those who are in the playoffs for the trucks here. And this involves all 4 seasons. Well, to get into it, it was the first 3 seasons, and now the 4th season is the playoffs, where they will be in that bracket system to try to be the year-long champion in the Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series, which these drivers definitely will want just as much. Looks like Cardozo regretted his decision because he is now into the pit. So that means everybody on the lead lap did indeed pit under this first caution of the night.
We made it into the 50 lap range before we had our first caution. But I'm interested to see if this could lead to more.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're going to be all packed up once again. And everybody's on fresh rubber, so they're going to be a little more ambitious. Those at the back know that this restart being a little less than 30 laps to go, well, it's time to start moving, I guess.
Yeah, we are definitely at the point in this race where it's not just sit around and try to make it to the end. We're at the end, so now it's time to put the pedal down.
Still waiting for the lights to go out on the pace car. And James Durr is going to get a lap back in this. So will Clayton Curry, Patrick Caron, and Joao Guerra. So though you see them in front of that 99 of Matthew Long, they are not going to be there for long. As soon as the lights go out, they'll get waved around. Well, except for Joao Guerra, who's pitting in.
Yeah, Guerra's had a pretty difficult night, and looks like it seems to only be getting worse for him.
Well, I wonder if he's dealing with some damage or something that he's had to kind of chip away at whenever he gets the opportunity. That's a strange call to me. I'm not sure why he elected not to get that lap back. Is taking tires here, and they only have 4 sets. Let's not forget. So, what is that his 3rd stop actually? So that might have been all of his sets if he took them on every pit stop. Again, well, I don't get that call.
Yeah, color me confused.
Well then, we are double file, and they've waved by. No, excuse me, we are not double file. They're preempting it. They'll do this from time to time. And there's the lights turn back on. Yeah, they weren't happy with the wave around guys. They're going to try and get them back to the front. Or back to the back of the pack, I should say. Ooh, quite a bit of damage. Holy cow. Who is that? Oh, that's Clayton Curry. Okay, that's not a leader. There we go. They were actually, the stewards were on the radio to him. I just realized now what was going on in all the discussion. They were telling him to get a move on, and now he's finally going to get around to the back of the field.
Wave around truck forgot he was a wave around truck.
I was very confused. I was like, what leader has that much damage on their truck? My goodness.
The one that's at the end of the lap.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Hopefully, for real this time, we're going to go back to green flag racing with about 27 laps to go. And we still have 37 of our 38 starters out there. William Kruska, the only driver to have taken a DNF so far today, which isn't too big of a surprise considering we've only had a single caution in our 58 laps of racing here. The 99 has been leading most of them. Matthew Long has looked to be the man to beat. I would not be willing to bet against Bradley Holly, though, if I'm honest, Chris.
You know, if you're one of the people that have been watching the PRL Truck Series for a long time, betting against Bradley Holly is usually not a smart choice.
Certainly not. One of these days, we're going to have to actually count and see how many there are total between the trucks and the Cup cars. There goes the pace car.
I hate to be the guy that dusts his trophy room.
Green flag is out, and Sink is going to try and deny him another trophy today, but Holly says no. He starts to pull ahead and slot into second place. He's still got to get past Long as many of the drivers start to get to the bottom line. And I'm looking through there. How about the 21? I don't know how we missed this. He's gone from 17th to 6th. A great bit of moving up the order as Bradley Holly moves up the final spot to the P1 position out on the track. He will lead this lap over Matthew Long.
Well, Holly definitely smelled the blood in the water. He was right on it. Got past Thomas Sink at the restart, and then got past Long before we got back to the line. Bradley Holly is definitely turning up the wick here in this last run.
Fighting back, Long tries to come up the outside, and familiar faces all around in the top. Abner Acosta back there giving watch. Thomas Sink in there. Doug Evans showing his face along with Adam Zemke, who's not doing too shabby as well in that number 57 from 15th to that 6th position. And look at Long. Long is coming back at him and actually almost looking like he might be able to do it.
He is ahead of him as we head down the back straightaway. Not sure if it's enough to stay ahead, but he is definitely inching ahead as we go through 3 and 4. Holly's going to pull just about even. It's going to be a drag race to the line here. Looks like Holly had it, but not by very much, Joe. 2 1/1000ths of a second, the difference on that lap.
Some close racing between them. I get the sense that this is some side drafting going on, trying to slow each other up. They're playing games now.
And we're seeing a lot of familiar faces up front, but drivers that really haven't been in the mix today, with Abner Acosta finally pulling up towards the front. I guess once the pay window opens, some of these guys come calling.
I said earlier, it's getting to be time to go, and I think we're seeing the evidence of that right here. Side by side for first, side by side for third. Get a little bit of cars going single file until you get 3 wide actually now, as up on the outside, Charlie Sumner. Oh, and a checkup from Bradley Holly. Thankfully, everybody was heads up. We go 3 wide now for third place as well. That's Acosta in the middle. He's going to bang doors, and that's Doug Evans that he gets to at the bottom. Thankfully, no caution, no spin.
Well, that definitely should have been a caution probably 3 or 4 times over. But everybody keeping it together. Bradley Holly with, looks like the number rubbed off on that driver's side door, but otherwise, somehow we keep it going.
Well, this is a boon to Long and Sink, who've started to stretch away, continue to drop off. They could have damaged the aerodynamics on those trucks so easily. Yeah, look at the distance. I can see the distance grow to get single file and start working together.
Definitely easier said than done when you have a racer's mindset like these guys have, but as it is, Long and Sink beginning to run away and hide from the rest of the field.
And with 20 laps to go as well, still enough time for another caution to erupts, and that could bring everybody back forward once again. But as they fight for that third spot, looks like Acosta going to have to give up the ghost. Zemke will fall back with him, and somehow Bradley Holly finds speed in places I am confused as to how. On fixed setups on the same age tires, and with a truck that should be at least relatively...
I'm pretty sure it's the lucky shirt.
Oh boy, wonder if he's changed it again this season, because he changed it once before. We'll have to check a little bit later. And Acosta really dropping now. Cervantes goes. While we come back and bring you all the way to... Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're getting ready to watch what hopefully will be the last laps under green here in the Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series. We'll get one more caution if we do, and that caution will likely send us to a overtime green-white checkers. We went the vast majority of this race under green, and then towards the end, it has suddenly fallen into a spate of yellows. It looks like we are going double file now, so we are going to restart with, I believe, 4 laps to go. As we look forward to seeing whether or not they can keep it clean for that. Matthew Long has been leading the vast majority of this race, had to kind of work his way back forward after Sink beat him in the pit stops previously. Zemke took advantage of a melee up at the front to get all the way up to the point briefly and is now back in second. Thomas Sink, who probably wants that lead back, is there in third. And Bradley Hawley, sporting just a little bit of damage on the left-hand side of that 184, sits in fourth, haunting all of them. And I'm pretty certain every single driver there up at the front is keeping an eye on that black machine, trying to keep him from taking yet another of his countless victories. Okay, through 3 and 4. They're starting to get antsy. They know they've got to make the moves now. Can somebody from even farther back maybe do something? Acosta, Young are back there. Doug Evans, who has been up towards the front all race long. There goes the pace car. Long waits for it. Oh, and he catches out Zemke, who tries to time the start and fails. He checks up. He falls back. But it looks like he won't have too bad a damage from it. He's going to be able to slot into second as down low below Hawley. I believe that's Acosta trying to take fourth rather.
Zemke has looked really strong in these closing stages. He gets a huge run off of turn 2, Joe. He's going to try to pull alongside the 99 as we head off into turn number 3.
Zemke gets a nose ahead and fully ahead. And he's going to bring along a friend with him as well. Matthew Long might lose second place. That is Thomas Sink down below as we go 3 laps to go now.
I'm not sure if Zemke found another gear or what, but he just took off of turn 2, past the 199, made it look easy after Matthew Long led so many laps today. Now Long beginning to fight back, and you can see Zemke trying to move around a little bit, break the draft up.
They dropped the ones behind them by a little bit. Acosta, Bradley Hawley, Young, Daniels have all been kind of fighting amongst themselves, but they still have time to try and catch it up. But now it's down to 2 laps to go. Penultimate lap here. Oh, but nobody goes for it on the front stretch, almost loses the truck. That might be race over there for Matthew Long, or at least win gone for him. And up around the outside, the 57 of Zemke is not going to give this one up. They're going to bang doors through 1 and 2. Down on the bottom, Thomas Sink as they wreck behind them. I think that may have been Conker getting involved in things as Thomas Sink down low holds the bottom away from Zemke. He's got the shorter line. A run, though, here for Matthew Long. Can he find anything? Once again, they're going to go 3 wide. Long hits the wall. Wheel to wheel. Coming to the finish line, and it's Zemke for the win in round 1.
What a last lap for that race, Joe. My God.
Where did Long come from? I thought he was toast. He nearly stole it from both of them. But it was Zemke ahead of Sink. Long was in third. Hawley, Sumner, and Young were, I want to say, almost 3 wide themselves across the line. What a finish to this race. It may have slowed up at the end with the cautions, but they gave us a show to be proud of. Is celebrating now. Adam Zemke is going to burn it down here in the Tri-Oval. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around. Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We just watched round one of the Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series, and it was Adam Zemke who won from 15th on the grid with 18 thousandths behind him being Thomas Sink, who finished in second. Sink was really up towards the top three, top five, pretty much all race long. Speaking of long, well, Matthew Long finished in third, about 2/10 back himself. We thought he was done with a lap to go, and then suddenly he came back and nearly was able to find a gap, but ran out of racetrack there and had to settle for that P3. Bradley Holly was fourth with Charles Sumner in P5. You've got Adam Young. Boy, I want to give some credit because poor Adam has had the worst luck here in the Truck Series, and he comes in with a sixth place here at Vegas after starting 17th. Doug Evans was P7 with Rob Haynes in 8th. Jose Medina from 27th to 9th, and Westerfield rounds out your top 10.
Austin Hunter from 25th to 11th. And how about AJ Roderick going from 31st to 12th? Then Richard Thomas in 13th, Colton Lane 14th. Patrick Cowgill, an up and down day for him in 15th. Danik Momi 16th with Tom Amassi in 17th. Daniel Knight 18th after being involved in one of the cautions. Eric Hauk 19th, and Ryan Traver completes the top 20.
21st went to Clayton Montgomery, Baron Hilton, and 22nd. Joao Guerra managed to get back on the lead lap very late and climbed all the way up to 23rd. Still a little bit lower than what he started, but I'm sure it's better than he thought he was going to be through most of this race. Poor Abner Acosta had to settle for P24 as Clayton Curry was 25th, Hunter 26th, and Neller was 27th. Then Josh Conker, who got some damage, went down to 29th after starting on row 2. Doyle Lawrence was 30th, and then the last one on the lead lap was Josh Daniels. From there on down, you get to trucks had a bad day, finishing multiple laps down, and I believe a scant few that DNF'd out there on the track. But that takes us to our winner here today, Adam Zemke, who definitely pulled a blinder on a number of other drivers as well as a bit on us, because though he was quick all day and certainly was hanging around the front, Adam, I have to admit, I hadn't picked you as one of the likely ones to take a victory here today, so you definitely went at the right time.
How you guys doing tonight? Yeah, I didn't really expect myself to have a good finish like that either. I mean, the first run we had, I was getting shuffled back like crazy, so I think that early pit stop I took put me in some good track position, and I'm just able to avoid kind of the clusters that were forming and work my way up front.
Talk to us about that last sprint to the line, 4 laps to try and make it happen. You find yourself battling for the lead and even holding the lead for much of it. What's going through your mind in those moments?
As soon as we took off there, I kind of had a clear gap to the bottom. I was kind of scared Thomas was going to have a better get draft, and I think there is a set was just